Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 90 of Dissonant Waves.
Damn.
Is it 90? Oh, we're up to 90.
We up to
We're up to
90.
90.
I'm Dominic.
You know how most of weekly podcasts or pretty freaking episodes get to episode 100 in like 2 years or so.
We're
That's-
almost on 3.
Yeah,
2.5-ish. We'll be fine.
Yeah.
could be worse, could be better.
We took breaks. We took our time.
Yeah, we had a series of mini-sodes at one point.
Yeah, we passed 100 recordings a while ago.
Yeah.
That was Glass Beach episode.
It was.
But we're in officially episode 90, and we have two albums and an EP. Oh, and one of these albums is a collection of EPs also.
Yeah.
So, who wants to read off what we got?
We have the new Johnny Marr album, which its name escapes me right now.
Fever
new Hot
Dreams,
Flash-
parts 1 through 4.
Yeah, Hot Flash Heatwave, Sportswear, and Cordi Elba by Lime Cordial, and Idris Elba.
Yes. Cordi Elba.
So, Dominic,
Yes.
you said you had some hot takes this week.
Yes, there was one phrase that kept coming up. I kept thinking about that Ritz has said many times, and that it shits me to tears.
Which is a common Australian saying, but go ahead.
And I believe it means it's just fucking boring, correct?
Well, shits me to tears kind of goes into the phrase of, shits me, which is you give me the shits, which is, it's not boring, it's you annoy me. It's kind of
Gotcha.
that's what it is, or you bother me, and then to tears is you're bothering me so much that I'm starting to cry.
Okay.
That's what shits me to tears kind of means. It's actually probably the most literal phrase we have.
So this
All right.
literally didn't make me shit to tears, but the spirit is there. Shall we go into that one first?
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's
go ahead.
into
Say
it
what it
first.
was. Say what it was.
Fever Dreams, parts 1 through 4.
Yeah, that is a surprise. That is a
I like that album.
So I'll give you the breakdown on this. Let me bring up I'll tell you exactly where it goes, okay? So
Okay.
Spirit, Power, and Soul, good track. Receiver, pretty good. All These Days through Counterclock World, boring as shit to me.
I don't disagree. I actually do think the opening track is by far the strongest on here. I think there's still a good showcase that Johnny Marr is still a good songwriter out there, but there is kind of a showcase that he isn't as relevant as he once was. This album was full of just existing songs, which I'll probably never go back to, but
Yeah.
it definitely did surprise me that the sound coming into this, I guess I was expecting something a bit more, or not being too familiar with Johnny Marr's solo work, despite the fact that I know that he's, collaborated with a lot of artists. I'm pretty sure he was a part of Modest Mouse for a bit.
He was.
Yeah, for their 2007 album.
Yes.
Yes. And honestly, this came out sounding more like a generic Modest Mouse album than it did what I expected a Johnny Marr album to sound like.
And then the other thing, I guess, is from Rubicon on is where I kind of got back into it. Like the last leg of the album, all right, I can deal with that. Human's cool. Rubicon is interesting. It's a little pretentious, but I kind of liked that about it. It was different.
Yeah.
But I was surprised, like, because I listened to a few tracks of it beforehand. Like, this seems all right. I could deal with this. But compared to the other kind of double albums we've done so far this year, this, like, in terms of experience, it ranks a little bit above Big Thief, in that there were songs I could definitely tell you about and that I liked, but not as good as, like, a Beach House or anything like that.
All right.
But, I appreciate, he's still out there. He's still making music. Like you said, he wasn't Modest Mouse. He is known as the guy who did the Inception theme. He worked with Billie Eilish on No Time to Die's theme. He's still out there doing stuff.
Yeah.
But this kind of runs into the problem I feel like a lot of solo artists tend to have, in that, like, a lot of their albums, it seems like a couple of the songs are good, and then the rest of them are just there.
I think the funniest part, though, is that Johnny Marr's most popular songs on Spotify at the moment are the Spider-Man 2 songs, and not the good Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, he also did Amazing Spider-Man 2, which is really weird and incredible. But
Yeah.
yeah, he's had quite the career after the Smiths, and I gotta respect that. And I do like some of these tracks, but like I'm just like thinking about this in terms of what has gained traction, what has been like the big singles, and like Tenement Time, Sensory Street was a B-side. Like I just didn't get it. Those songs all sounded kind of the same to me.
Mm-hmm.
And like if you want to go in depth to it, like the first EP came out last year, November. The second one came out in like late December. Then I think the last two have not really gotten individual releases, except the third one is getting a vinyl release in May for some reason. So that's how that one's getting separated out. But
interesting.
So most of these tracks could count for Ritz's cycle, but the good ones don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's kind of a shame. I might have actually gone back to some of them in that case, but it's like, I don't know, it's just nothing to go back to on this record.
It's Johnny Marr album, and I like Johnny Marr. That's how I'm feeling about it.
I'll listen to Spirit Power and Soul.
Fair enough.
Spirit Power and Soul is a solid song. I like it.
Yeah, it's a good song, but it's just like there's no reason for me to put it back on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Like, I know when it comes to especially when I do my end of the year songs rankings, it shouldn't matter like how much I listen to something for me to enjoy it. But I mean, context is something that matters, and then the actual context that goes in and around to actually having listened to this stuff kind of causes that context to matter. And then there's just no context in which I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go back to this Johnny Marr record.
Yeah, it's like I stopped listening to the Paranol, the whole album after a while, and I was mostly just listening to Beautiful World. And maybe like White Ceiling here and there.
Yeah.
But but it's like one of those things where it's like, how does this album actually fall into your, into your year? And sometimes
it's like it was there.
And sometimes it can leave a big impression without having to listen to it too much. How many times did you listen to the microphones in 2020?
Well, how many times have you listened to Crow Looked at Me?
How many times did you listen to The Caretaker?
Last time I listened to A Crow Looked at Me, I was just absolutely crying on the couch. That was I can't listen to that album anymore.
I'll try to come back to it.
I chose A Crow Looked at Me a while back for album on the week on the Oz Music Discord because I'm like, I hate everyone. I want to make them cry.
Yeah.
And everyone was reviewing it and they were going like, oh, this is one of those albums you can't really listen to back again. And there's this thing called Last FM and Scrobbles, which we have bots which go and show how many times it's scrobbled an album and stuff. Yeah. And you see all these people who've listened to it like 10 and 20 scrobbles, which is like 1 or 2 full listens. And like the second highest, I think, was at 60. And then there's just me at like 350.
Wow.
That's impressive.
And everyone was like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I think so.
I can't even make it through the second song without just absolutely crying my eyes out. Just the line like, I don't see that dust of your bones as you, just fucking wrecks me.
Trix is now off crying again.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had a hormonal weekend. I got my first period.
Congrats.
Thank you.
I'm sure Phil Elverum would like to hear this beautiful link of stories from from his dead wife to your period cramps.
Yeah.
Did you have any fever dreams?
I just have weird dreams, but I do not remember any of them.
Did you dream of Johnny Marr?
I did not dream of Johnny Marr.
Nah, you only dream of Idris Elba.
Yes. We'll get into that later, though.
I actually did dream of Lorenzo this week.
Damn.
Not in that way, but like I was saying in the chat before, I dreamt that there was a new Petite League album, and then there was a EP that was covers.
Yeah, that's right.
And the whole EP side was written out with handwritten in pencil.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. It
was like a cassette liner notes thing.
Yeah, I get what you're getting at.
Yeah, it was really cool. I wish it existed.
Remember how this podcast started off with me joking about how I want to fuck every artist, and now there's just you two actually dreaming about every artist.
Yeah.
How the turntables.
Also weird that I also met Lorenzo and I spent time with him.
Yeah.
But if you're listening to this, it was literally just about the EP.
For legal reasons.
I'm not that weird, I promise.
And if
Lorenzo,
Idris Elba somehow listens to this, I am that weird.
yeah, you can do anything to her, and I mean anything.
Just have her back by 10
Oh yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
in the morning.
Yeah.
We completely strayed away from Johnny Marr. Does anyone actually give a shit anymore?
I mean, does anyone have any songs to talk about this?
No, not really. I mean, I gave it 2 full listens, which is hard to do for a 75-minute album.
I have a couple I marked down that I really liked. I liked Tenement Time, Night and Day, Counterclock World, and God's Gift. Those are the ones that really jumped out at me.
Yeah, Tenement Time and Night and Day were some of the singles. So I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, but I liked the second, the latter 2 EPs a little bit better than the first 2. I think.
Yeah, I definitely agree. The last, like I said, the last 5 songs I was really into comparatively, and the first couple. So it's what, half of EP1, EP4, half of EP3, kind of.
Yeah.
It is okay. It's alright.
It's a Johnny Marr album, and it's Johnny Marr doing a Johnny Marr thing, and that's really all there is to say about it.
You never really listened to the Smiths, though, have you?
Not really, but I've listened to a lot of Johnny Marr's solo work.
Oh, you have?
As weird as that sounds.
I didn't know you were that familiar or not.
Yeah, I enjoy Johnny Marr, and his solo work is a lot of this kind of stuff, and I enjoy that.
Well, how does it compare then?
I'm not too familiar, but it's pretty good. It's comparable, I guess would just be the best way to put it.
Because I've seen his other stuff out there, Call the Comet was his last album.
Yeah.
If it's just as good, I guess that answers my question.
It's pretty good, yeah.
I mean, it got decent reviews.
It's very much Johnny Marr does a Johnny Marr thing. And
clearly he's still well respected in the industry, which is really cool. Working with
of course.
Hans Zimmer so much.
Yeah.
And Billie Eilish. And, just getting his name out there all the time.
Yeah.
Avalanches. He's, I guess that's what you get if you work as a session musician. Just kind of get associated with all this stuff.
Yeah. I mean, talking about session musicians, look at all the shit that Jimmy Page played on.
Yeah. His name is attached to the Pretenders, Pet Shop Boys,
yeah,
Blondie, John Frusciante, Oasis,
Frusciante,
The Killers.
Yeah.
More than Morrissey, I guess. He's had a bigger legacy and more long lasting.
Definitely. That just shows what happens when you're not a dick and you just write music.
Yeah. He was even on a Crowded House album.
Yeah.
He's really expanded everywhere. That's really all I have to say. Favorite track, his Spirit, Power, and Soul. I liked Human as well and Receiver. Least favorite track. Oh, let me look at this list.
It's hard to remember, isn't it?
It's hard to what?
Hard to remember what the least favorite was.
So probably something like All These Days Are Lightning People. I remember just being like, is this right, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll probably just full on agree with you because definitely agree with the favorite tracks. I'm just trying to find what the best words to describe it. I mean, I was saying it was kind of like modern rocky, but it was also kind of new wavy at times at its peak, and then at its worst, it was just really forgettable.
It was somewhat of an 80s throwback, because then it's it was comparable to Hot Flash Heatwave, I felt like. They were kind of going for similar vibes in a way.
Yeah, definitely.
Is that a segue?
Well, Trix has to give her favorite.
I already said my favorites, and I really don't have any least favorites.
Got it. I'll have to listen back later because I forgot. Yeah. Well, I guess we should talk about Hot Flash Heatwave then.
Yeah. This album fucks.
This album is the Tame Impala ripoff.
In a good way or a bad way?
In a mad way. Although the first song, the intro, starts off as a Hippocampus ripoff.
I'm gonna be honest. I got I'm. This might be blasphemous to say, but off of the song Motions, I kind of got Daft Punk vibes.
Oh, I definitely got Daft Punk vibes.
Oh yeah, no, they're God, I forgot what song it's similar to because it's just like kind of slipped my mind. But yeah,
It was one of the songs
there
off
was
of
one song.
off of Random Access Memories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was at the concert last night and that was playing during the opening act and the main act.
So which was the song that you said again? Was the
Oh god.
Motions sounds like
yeah,
the Daft Punk.
Give me 5 seconds.
But
I like this album a lot.
yeah, this album's good.
I was surprised how much I like this, considering I thought the first Hot Flash album was alright.
This is very different than the first Hot Flash album, and very different from even the second Hot Flash album,
which I've not listened to.
I just want to just interject for a bit with Motions. Actually, sounds a lot like Tame Impala's Breathe Deeper.
Fair enough.
But there's like a vocoder song in Random Access Memories. I can't remember which one it is.
Doing It Right.
Yeah, that's probably the one we're thinking of.
Yeah.
Or Lose Yourself to Dance, maybe.
I think
Lose Yourself to Dance doesn't have the vocoder from what I remember.
You're right.
At least.
Yeah, I think I'm thinking of Doing It Right.
Doing It Right's the one that has the one. Most prominent.
But I got Daft Impala vibes from this, and I honestly don't care. It's not as good as groundbreaking as those things, but
yeah, it's a fun album, and sometimes you just need a fun album.
It's weird because I think this is better than their first record, which the name escapes me. Give me 5 seconds to Neapolitan.
Yes.
Yeah, Neapolitan.
I think it's more consistent and more coherent, but I think it also comes at the cost a bit of losing their sound. I think the only one that kind of sounded more surf rocky and when I say losing their sound, I don't mean that they've found a new one or anything as well. And I think they've kind of lost their identity is probably the better way of saying it, and just stolen someone else's. Vampires was really the only track.
Oh, Vampires is
it's definitely the highlight off here because it feels less like it's stealing another band's ideas more than it is incorporating it into their own, which I think works a lot better for them as well. The song is a lot catchier. I think it's also a lot more unique in how it does. Like it's a bit less afraid to do shit.
Yeah.
I mean,
like, there's that moment in it where the whole solo just immediately cuts out and goes back into the song, and it's a weird kind of jarring moment, but for some reason it just actually works well with the flow in there.
I mean, but they do try other things for sure. Like Nothing Else has that almost like metal breakdown partway through.
Yeah. I think Bay Boys is like actually just like slowed down.
Yeah, I know that's like kind of the biker gang fantasy that I was reading about. I mean, also it's worth talking about how this was a queer band all along.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone was too surprised about that, right?
I didn't know that before.
I didn't either, if I'm going to be honest.
But that's kind of come to light since our recording of that, kind of like with Janelle Monáe.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think we mentioned anything about it in the first episode, nor have they probably come out or anything, but, I mean, the vibes are always there.
Yeah, they were, but I'm not one to just assume unless I hear something.
Hot Flash Heat Wave.
All we need now is for Tism to come out in some way.
Yeah, I don't think you would want that.
Otherwise, we'd have a really good record for the first episode.
Yeah,
but worth mentioning.
Actually, Tism do have the lyric. They may not be homosexual, but they have slept with a guy who's one.
Got it. Wonderful. But I do think maybe as you kind of talk about their identity and how it's getting changed or diluted, maybe that also ties back into some of this as well. Because I definitely see like the embracing of like more vocoder work and more they're kind of more androgynous vocals, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's very intentional and very much something that they're going for, maybe for those reasons of like trying to identify in a different way in some way. I don't know it's exactly clear what that is, but that's the vibe that I get, is like, let's kind of transcend humanity a little bit.
Yeah, I get that.
Because like Health does it, and Health does it in a very different way, where it's kind of just their aesthetic. It's just kind of like Health's always been about, the vocalist sounds a little dead because it's about the emotion and vibe of the tracks. Where this feels a bit more personal, I guess, a bit more emotional, because the singing is still emotional and still vibing, but changed. And you can kind of see, well, at least on their Bandcamp, they talk about a lot of different inspirations they had, like goth and new wave and house and 90s like club R&B and anime and stuff like that. And I can see some of that, but I can also kind of see how a lot of that can get thrown into a blender and just kind of come out the other side with this clubby 80s feel.
Yeah.
Like I think
I get that kind of clubby 80s feel, but I bring back to my main criticism with this, which is pretty much my main topic point about this, and we have a lot of artists that kind of bring back into similar vibes of that, but have still kind of modernized it. And obviously the big one is Tame Impala. That's why I do a big, like, oh, it's a Tame Impala ripoff, blah 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 shit about this. But it's like, it's not really so much an 80s throwback anymore now as it is kind of just, I'm going to say, vibing with its contemporaries, because it's the nicest way I can put it. And I mean, artists are always going to sound very similar to each other because, you know, musicians listen to what comes out, and then that can in turn inspire them. And then,
sure.
well, and sometimes, so I mean, and sometimes, and I'm not actually accusing pop flash of this, but sometimes artists do actually want to rip off something because they go, hey, that's what's popular, so let's try and do that. And in the case of here, it just really feels like I've heard all of it. Vampires is the only song in which I'm like, okay, I don't feel like I've actually heard it. And when Trix did introduce us to it at the start of the week, I was a lot more hyped for this album than I came out with it. And I don't hate this record, but I am very disappointed in this record.
That's fair.
The way I want to put it.
Yeah, it's fair.
I guess I would say, like, I wish Vampires had come out this year, or we'd heard it last year, because it's definitely in my top tracks of last year now.
Yeah.
Yeah, same here. I probably tell you what, where would I have put it? And let's go into my songs of the year list and actually compare it. I don't think I would have put it high up. Like, I don't think it would have been anywhere near, say, like a Divine Chord or no, I don't even think it would be next to the Stomach Book stuff, but I could probably see it ahead of. I'd probably see it ahead of Tiger's Jaw, Can't Wait Forever, below Caught in a Moment by Origami Angel. I think around there.
Yeah, like I'm looking at like where I'd probably put it around the late 15 to 20 mark. I'd probably just get rid of one of those and put it there. Because anything like beyond 15 is kind of like, after 15 is, I like it, but not much, all can kind of go or stay.
Fair enough.
Because I think I've probably come on and saying that at the start I didn't like it more than Malibu, but at this point I think I do like it more than Malibu.
But
Neapolitan, you mean?
No, the
just the track. Gotcha.
The track to track.
Just track to track.
So tell us about Soaked, since I have not listened to that.
It is very much just kind of, it feels like Mac DeMarco B-sides.
In what
like
way?
I'm gonna be like, I've literally been listening to it and I'm like, oh shit, is this a Mac DeMarco song I haven't heard? And I turn it on and it's Hot Flash Heatwave.
Granted, my reference of our Mac DeMarco is Cowboy.
More 2.
Okay.
Which we need to cover too one day.
Yeah, that's my favorite Mac DeMarco album. And I consider it a Christmas album, if I'm gonna be honest. But yeah, I think this is their best work comparatively to like Neapolitan and Soaked. I will definitely be coming more back to this than I think Neapolitan. I own Neapolitan on vinyl.
Yeah. Neapolitan I was never like huge on. Like I thought it was decent. I thought they were taking from other stuff then that I thought was more obvious. Like I think there was an Apples in Stereo rip. I was like, oh, that's just the same beat.
If
Yeah.
I recall, you still put it above Tism.
I couldn't have. Could I?
I
feel
think you
like
two both put Tism as number three.
I put Tism as number 3. I think Domino put Ritz as puts Tism as number 2.
I'm pretty sure I put Tism as
Maybe.
number 2 because I still was impressed by the breadth and like the audacity of Tism.
Maybe
Yeah.
it was just Tricks putting in number 3, but I still think that was the best album of that week.
Janelle Monáe was the best album of that week.
Janelle Monáe for sure. And I like Tism a lot now. Like
Yeah.
after great
Janelle
songs,
Monáe has not made a single song about River Phoenix.
give her time.
Yeah.
Give them time.
They might. You never know.
Anyway, we're back to the hot flash.
Janelle Monáe's Hot
I got
Flash
that.
is serious, Mom.
Yeah. That title came to me in a dream.
Did Idris Elba tell it to you?
That was before I was fantasizing about Idris Elba.
I think this is an album that's really cohesive. All like I'm not gonna say I remember all the tracks right now, but I know in the moment I've liked all the tracks enough to be like, this is solid. There's nothing here that I'm like, this could be cut or like this is okay. This is a song.
Yeah.
And I think some of probably the lesser remembered cuts, like Nothing Else, is going to be something that sticks with me, even if it's not on my top tracks of the year list. Like, I'm probably going to buy this album.
Dang.
Like, yesterday,
Like you buy every album.
I stopped.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, I can look at the last albums I bought. Give me a moment.
All right.
I had to pay taxes recently, so I had to save my money for that.
That's fair.
See, what did I most recently buy? Oh, Desk Slam and Fun by Ritalin for Kids.
Greatest record of all time.
Chicago artist I'm checking out called Gnosis is Alive. I'd like to cover at some point. Floating Blue,
All right.
Petite League, Beach House, Pony Time, Last Dinosaurs, By Country.
Dang.
That's all I bought this year.
Dang. Hell yeah.
And maybe one or two others on iTunes, but that's really it.
Alrighty then.
But you know, without an iPod right now, things have changed for me.
Yeah, you should. We need to rectify that.
Yeah, I need to find the time to look into dank pods or just get a new one for now.
Yeah.
Either will work. But I like Hot Flash Heatwave now. I like this album quite a bit. It's good.
Yeah.
We're all good to talk about favorites and least favorites?
Yeah.
I mean, I think our favorite is probably all universal here.
Vampires. Hell yeah.
Vampires and Bay Boys for me.
Vampires and like Nothing Else in Motions for me.
Yeah.
Least favorite's gonna be the opener, which just like it's not bad, but it turns from a Hippocampus like it sounds the same as the Hippocampus opener to Landmark, and then they start turning into a Tame Impala ripoff.
Yeah, I can see that.
My least favorite's probably gonna be Bay Boys because I don't think it goes hard enough to be a gangster bike fantasy.
I'm gonna be honest with Bay Boys. I kind of just more enjoy like the instrumentation of it. There's like a counterpoint between the guitar and bass that's just so fucking like tasty. Like my music nerd senses kind of like just grasp to that immediately.
I can see that. I want to look up real quick. Twitter. I thought someone cool was following Hot Flash Heatwave. Is Nick okay, by the way? His Twitter is concerning.
Yeah, he just came out of his room and he cut his hair really short.
Ah. Okay.
Like-
Sir Fock is dead.
Like really short. I will show the photo.
Still remember when Trix was moving out, Trix forgot to put in any context towards her treats. And they were
Yeah.
just like, oh my god, I'm so nervous, I'm leaving soon. And then Pete went to me and just said, does Trix need to be checked up on? And I
Yeah.
just had to go, it's like, thanks to your concern, she's literally moving across state.
Yeah.
He's such a sweetheart.
He is.
Yeah, Surf Rock is Dead is following Hot Flash Heat Wave, which I was
Yeah.
like, oh, that was the band that you were talking about Surf Rock is Dead through, but no, Surf Rock is Dead was more aligned with Petite League.
Yes.
So there's a weird connection with all of that there.
Yeah, there is.
But yeah. Oh yeah, it's looking at Surf Rock is Dead now. You follow them, Petite League follows them, and Hot Flash Heat Wave follows them.
Yeah, sounds about right.
And I follow them. Yep. Is that it for Hot Flash? You ready
I
to
think
talk
that's
about?
good for.
It's a good album.
Yeah, Cordi Elba. Are you ready to talk about? I'll
Also, Beach
introduce.
Goons follows Hot Flash Heatwave.
Oh, I don't follow Beach Goons.
Oh.
Damn.
So Cordi Elba. So late last year, we were introduced with the first single of this Apple Crumble after Idris Elba had joined Lord Cordial, Lime Cordial on stage at the Enmore to add a verse into what is now on the EP, but at the time was already existing song, Unnecessary Things, which I believe was added as a bonus track to their second album.
Yes, it was.
If I'm recalling correctly, yes. And from there, we ended up getting a full EP. I mean, the whole kind of Idris Elba coming thing came from the whole all the actors and stuff moving to Sydney due to COVID because of Fox Studio stuff over here, so they could get some of the movies more made, and then
Yeah.
government ended up letting COVID fuck us up anyway, so that was a little funny. Some of them actually came from the celebrities.
I like the idea
But,
that Idris is there to film a Thor movie, and he just ends up hooking up with Lime Cordial.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
there to record that, and apparently he just really likes to go to concerts. So Lime Cordial was there and actually approached them rather than Lime Cordial approach Idris, which you'd feel like in a case like this, it'd be like the smaller one tries to get the bigger one, but it's kind of like no, he was just like, hey, do you want to do some stuff together, and then they pulled him onto stage first, and then after that they actually ended up collaborating and made this EP, which surprisingly doesn't like when it comes to a lot of this stuff, and you would probably expect it would be Lime Cordial and then a little bit of Idris, but it's
Right.
actually really fucking smacked down. Like Idris does take a majority of the vocals, but that's
Yeah.
only because the instruments, mostly the Lime Cordial sound happening in the background as well. Obviously they do the choruses and stuff as well. And this is probably my favorite collaboration EP when it comes to like this kind of whole pop rap stuff.
Yeah.
Since
Mhm.
Fantagrams collaborated with Big Boy.
Ooh, I gotta listen to that.
Dang.
And
You want to say any hot takes you have, Dominic?
yes, Apple Crumble is my least favorite song in the EP.
That's fine.
Yeah.
It
Did you
gets
like the rest though?
it's an EP that gets better as it goes.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I really like Ditto.
Go ahead.
I really like Ditto and Holiday, and Unnecessary Things is cool too.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, I prefer the first half, but that's also because I like Holy Moly. I think that one's just very relaxing in a good way.
Yeah, it's cool. I like that one too.
Hmm.
But Ditto
It
and
is
Holiday.
like the first couple tracks are very cheesy, but Lime Cordial's always kind of like always had this bit of cheese in their songs and kind of just translated it pretty well.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I mean, they had a song called Robbery, which is their biggest hit, and that is She Took My Heart and Then Took Off on Me. Like, that's a fucking
Yeah.
cheesy ass line, but it's a fun ass song.
Yeah.
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 But
Even though that's not on here, but
like when you had us listen to Apple Crumble last week, because I don't remember if I heard it before. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm not sure if I like Idris Elba in this song, and it's growing on me a little bit. But I do like his vocals on the other songs a lot more.
Yeah.
Like, oh, Ditto is so cool, and Holiday is just like a fun, nice, relaxing track. Kind of like Holy Moly.
I just like how sleazy Apple Crumble is, though.
Yeah. I was just like,
It-
I cheated on my wife.
Yeah, it's like this whole like don't hold back kind of style with it, which is kind of what you had. Like when you're doing a song about infidelity, and then you're the one who's committing the infidelity. You
Yeah.
have to really do it in a way that one has some self-awareness to it, which this does,
Hmm.
and then to actually just kind of be fun enough to know it's not something to actually take serious. And then in this case, as well, don't fucking hold back. Don't try and be in the right though in the song
Yeah.
as well,
Yeah.
which they don't. It's just going. I'm having a fucking threesome with two women and away from my wife, and is playing this really fucking sleazy character during the whole of it, and it's fun as shit.
Yeah.
And then the Wiggles covered it, and they didn't change the lyric.
I've got to check that out.
Yeah, I do too.
I got my father to listen to this album, which I think is the first.
What do you think?
And he did not say much on it, which means that he thought it was okay, but he's not gonna come back and listen to it.
Okay.
See, my dad loves Lime Cordial more than I do. I wasn't big into their second album outside of the singles.
I did listen
My
to.
dad huge big into it.
I did listen to Unnecessary Things, the album version, just as a comparison point. I think the rap verse adds so much.
Yeah.
No, I definitely agree. The Cordi Elba version is shit ton better.
Like, is it just
Yeah.
it's just an extended instrumental out? It's like, all right, that's kind of boring.
There's not much like there was a shit ton of actors and stuff that you go into the whole I guess I better put out some music and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so many of them are really bloody forgettable. I mean, I'm talking outside of the Disney sphere as well, where
Yeah.
usually you're kind of forced into both from an early age. Anyway, anyone remember that classic Vin Diesel track? Go back even back to the '80s, the Bruce Willis track.
No.
No.
I think the best Bruce Willis song was when it was the Rugrats movie. I'm pretty sure, doesn't he cover Lust for Life?
Sure.
Yeah.
I think he does. think I've got that correct.
Bruce Willis's albums is a rabbit hole that I've been meaning to go down on this podcast.
It's on the list.
I one of the things I particularly want to cover about that is the HBO special that they had for his Bruno album, where like they got like Paul McCartney and I think George Harrison at the time. I could be wrong though. I could just be misremembering my Beatles, and they were talking about how his character was the character that got the Beatles to all know each other. And just like how he's an important figure in like fake rock history, and it's really entertaining.
Well, I didn't put out the holy grail of scarring us when it comes to actors to musicians.
What is that? Oh, Corey Feldman?
Shit. No, well, no, that's the Jesus of it. The holy grail is Jared fucking Leto.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. 30 Seconds to Mars.
Oh, please
no.
Dominic's gone.
We're listening to Nickelback next week anyway. It'll be okay.
Yeah.
But it's like with Idris here, he's gone and taken up like this kind of rapping position. I mean, most of what he's doing on here isn't singing, even though he does have a couple actual singing verses. A lot of it,
Yeah.
like even on What's Not to Like, which is not so much rapping, it's more kind of like this very hawky kind of way of singing.
Yeah, it was kind of
And
strange.
I think he's adapted into it pretty well, all things considered, especially since I think a lot of his musical background beforehand has more been DJing, but I haven't listened to a lot of his actual like solo content to actually give you any information on it. But this is just something that you would expect to just be like a little bit of fun, and it's like, oh, okay, it's cool, but I'd rather like a Lime Cordial solo stuff, or like some reason maybe an Idris Elba solo stuff. But I think they've matched together in a way that's actually been pretty successful. I mean, the music here, it was always going to be a hit in the underground scene here. It's Lime Cordial, they're fucking huge here, and then it's like, oh, they're with a big name actor now. That was always going to be a hit, but like it still was, and it didn't seem like by the end of it that it was only a hit for the sake of being a hit. It was an actual good song.
Yeah.
Looking at his bio a little bit on Wikipedia, he has collaborated with a number of artists before,
Mm.
and has had a couple
Hmm.
releases before. Like he's in a Mumford and Sons video. He collaborated with Macklemore.
Hmm.
He opened for Madonna.
Oh,
So he's done stuff. He's collaborated with some
Yeah.
African musicians as well.
Mm.
So he's been out there doing stuff. Collaborated with Paul McCartney on a remix of a song.
oh,
Interesting.
Jesus.
Hmm.
I
Alright.
will.
You go first, Trix.
I was gonna say, I will say, Idris Elba always seemed like the kind of guy who, no matter what, didn't take himself seriously, and I can really respect that.
He's just a guy out here doing stuff.
Yeah, he's just out here having fun with what he can do.
Like he was a kickboxer for a while,
Mm.
Yeah,
and that seems to be done, or just not news anymore.
yeah, he just seems
Well,
to do what he likes, and I can really respect that.
one thing I was going to mention as well is that when it comes to kind of how the vocals mesh here together, I mean, Lime Cordial, you'd say, probably has a pretty. They're not the strongest Australian accent out there, but they have a pretty strong accent to them,
Sure.
Mhm.
and so does Idris. So we actually have like two. I know a lot of people say like, oh, England and Australia have very similar fucking dialects, but there's actually quite a lot of difference in them when you actually
Yeah.
listen to them, and they're very, like most accents actually are. They're very contrasting with each other, but they actually, yeah, it's the way that this all just kind of meshes together as well is so, just like, it's so surprising. Again, this isn't like a perfect record or anything out there. I mean, there are some moments on here where it's kind of like, yeah, maybe there is just a bit of just too much sameness happening here. But,
Mhm.
I mean, it's fun. That's all it needed to be. And it's short and sweet.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
Good
doesn't
EP.
overstay its welcome. It's just there. It's gone.
yeah,
Can't wait to see Knuckles, baby.
yeah.
Now
That
he's
is.
Knuckles.
Yeah, I always thought he would have made a good James Bond too.
I think he should still do it. They should just sign like a contract for a movie or two. Just let him do it.
Yep. Yes.
And I look at the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 Wikipedia page, and it's listing the casts. And James Marsden's there, Tika Sumpter. You get going down the list. Colleen O'Shaughnessy, the voice of Tails, and then Idris Elba, the voice of Knuckles.
Yeah.
Listed right before Jim Carrey as the ringer for Dr. Eggman. So they're doing their best to kind of have everybody. And, oh yeah, Idris Elba's here.
It's not right how excited I am for Sonic 2.
I think universally that just made the movie so much more interesting.
Yeah. I think I tweeted out when Idris Elba said he wasn't going to try and make Knuckles sexy. I just said, like, Idris Elba is just sexy. He'll make it sexy without even trying.
And then he did.
Yeah.
Wild.
I don't want to know what you two have been looking at, but fair enough. If Knuckles is successfully sexy,
I don't personally care about that, but like, people reacted to it, so clearly it turned some people on.
Yeah. I'm just a fan of Idris Elba.
He's cool. I need to see him in more
Yeah.
things. I need to know more about him. I've not seen Luther.
Yeah.
I probably should. Oh, what won the Oscars? The Oscars are tonight. What won?
Will Smith did win.
Yes.
He slapped the shit out of
And-
Chris Rock and won. Yes.
Yeah, imagine smacking somebody for disrespecting your woman and then accepting an award immediately after.
Well, Coda won.
Yeah,
Okay.
honestly, it's the Oscars. I'm just happy something interesting actually happened at them for once. I don't know enough context about this Will Smith shit outside of. I'm guessing there's not really much context for this whole slap outside of the video that was posted.
Chris Rock made a joke and he reacted.
And
Yeah.
then it's kind of like most of this shit is like, is it staged and shit? Well, the slap probably wasn't, but the jokes are usually rehearsed and shit because the Oscars aren't actually a bunch of celebrities having a rest and going like, oh, I've never heard these jokes or anything before.
Yeah.
A lot of these times, a lot of this shit is actually rehearsed.
I mean,
Granted, it's probably not in the state of this or anything, but you would assume jokes like that were probably actually ran by a lot of people first.
Apparently, Amy Schumer stole a joke right off of Twitter.
Lovely.
And no surprises there.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Most
can.
comedians do that actually, though. Like, Amy Schumer is a piece of shit, but I don't actually think she does much other than that most comedians these days don't.
Yeah. And that's debatable. I follow a lot of comedy.
There are still a lot of good comics out there and stuff that don't do that
Yeah.
shit. Don't get me wrong about that, but I feel like there's also a lot of comics out there that aren't actually that fucking good and just steal a lot of their shit off Twitter. There's a good post off Netflix of the of that Boomer comic with the whole fucking kids these days with the participation trophies.
Jeff Foxworthy. Oh God.
Talk about
Jeff.
being stuck in the 90s.
Yeah. I don't have much to say about Jeff Foxworthy other than he was probably the only good host for Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? Because he was not.
Yeah,
Someone else hosted that show?
I think it was just Jeff Foxworthy. I could be wrong though.
I thought it was
in
just
Australia, or is Rove McManus?
I hope he was
And
better.
the best thing about Rove McManus was actually from what was his name? Bob Safran, and he did this whole 6-episode show on religion, and it wasn't just like Christianity and Muslim. It was actually going into like although in this one it is with like Islam and shit. It was actually going into some of those underground and cultish ones in like the fucking desert as well.
Mm-hmm.
So like he did peyote live on the fucking show, and he got there was this group of like radical Islamists in England who would pretty much put what's the term what's the term fatwa on anyone, and Bob Safran was still angry that Rove McManus cancelled his appearance on his show. So he got a fatwa against it.
They rebooted Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader in 2019, and fucking John Cena hosted it.
Sure, he
The
did.
fuck?
And it was like a Nickelodeon show this time instead of a Fox.
Okay,
show.
no, that makes sense. I think John Cena's done a lot of shit with Nickelodeon.
Oh yeah, the Fred movies.
Even with Kids' Choice Awards.
Yeah.
Way before that, pretty sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I feel like there's also going to be a lot of people with this Will Smith shit. They're probably going to just be applauding Will Smith for doing a slap. I think this is kind of like a whole well. You realize that a majority of this shit is just roasting other celebrities. I mean,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
there was probably worse said by Ricky Gervais during his speech, and no one went up and stopped him there.
Yeah.
Granted, it's probably more truthful said in Ricky Gervais' speech, but
I would also just like to say fuck Ricky Gervais.
Yeah, he's just dumb at this point.
Perf.
Just he needed to evolve and he didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't realize he was a turf.
He is a turf, one of the more vocal
Yeah.
ones. James Acaster has a great stand-up special where he just introduces it and then he just shits on Ricky Gervais, making fun of trans people for like the first 5 minutes.
Didn't realize that.
I will post the clip once we are done with the episode.
Well, you learn more every day.
I'm reading an article about the whole thing. I guess it wasn't exactly planned like that. It's. I mean, I wouldn't put it past the Oscars to have the moment where they're like, "Yeah, go up there and slap him," and then say, "Keep my wife's fucking name out of your mouth." It'll be a huge moment.
I guarantee this is the most anybody has given a shit about the Oscars in 10 years.
I couldn't really give a shit about any other part about this. Oscars are probably just going, like, who's ever running it's probably just going, oh shit, people are going to be talking about us this time.
People cared. People care when they misannounced the Best Picture winner a few years ago.
Oh, yeah, the fucking Adele Dazeem.
Yeah.
No, there was that one. There was La La Land.
Yeah, and there was also La La Land and Moonlight with Steve Harvey.
That's right.
Not Steve Harvey.
It was Steve Harvey.
No, it wasn't.
I'm pretty sure it was.
No, Steve Harvey did the Miss America or some shit like that.
Oh yeah.
Hold on. I'm gonna look because I think it was like Robert Redford or something like that.
I mean, I'm not gonna really give too many shits about the Oscars outside of this, but it is cool to see someone else have a Kanye moment.
Yeah.
Although Kanye's never slapped someone on the stage during this.
No, Faye Dunaway and Warren Beatty.
Well,
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Yes, I looked it up to be sure. But yeah, old, and apparently they were given the wrong envelope. That's just how it happened. But yeah, so that's all of that.
Yeah.
Life is happening outside of this podcast. You might as well react to it.
Yeah, our content's not going to be evergreen forever.
Oh, there's the picture of Nick.
Yes.
Haircut. It's not that short. It's like about as short as mine.
It's short compared to what he had, though.
Fair enough. Do we have much else to say about Cordi Elba?
It's a shorter album, and I feel like we still talked more about it than the other ones.
I liked it. I don't think it's going to be my number one, but I liked it.
Doesn't have to be.
It's these Sunday recordings. We just get more efficient when it's not the usual time.
Yeah.
I kind of like when we ramble more personally, but
well, next week will be a ramble fest.
oh, next week will be interesting. God, let's get through this first though. Favorites for me are Ditto and Holiday. Least favorites Apple Crumble.
Favorites are Apple Crumble and Holy Moly. Least favorite probably Holiday.
Favorites for me are Apple Crumble and I want to say Ditto or What's Not to Like. I really enjoyed the middle of this album. I feel like that's where it really got strong, and I don't have a least favorite.
I think we all said different songs.
Yeah.
It's cool. But next week, it's finally time.
Oh God, the long anticipated. What have we been planning this for? Like a year?
It's been a year that I want to do the infamous Smith Steak episode, where you eat a steak, Trix, and we listen to the Smiths, Meat is Murder, and what else?
JPEG Mafia's All My Heroes Are
baby.
Cornballs.
A Veteran.
No, Veteran.
Veteran, gotcha.
Because Veteran has the song.
I
really
fucking wait. I cannot fucking wait until Morrissey dies.
That's
Yes.
right.
It's the interplay of Morrissey and Morrissey. I can't fucking wait until Morrissey dies. And then also, what did you pick, Trix, for this?
I'm doing the fourth Nickelback album, the one with Photograph off of it. Because I figured I gotta just make this whole thing a hellscape for everybody.
Look at this graph.
All the Right Reasons by Nickelback. All excellent. So
Yeah.
we're going for it. We're going big. The Smiths Meat is Murder.
I'm cooking a full menu.
Yeah, we're cooking a menu. Nick's gonna be on this podcast apparently.
Yeah, and he actually likes Nickelback, so that'll be interesting.
Ooh,
Second half,
perfect.
what you say he actually likes Smiths.
I like the Smiths.
I
No.
kind of like the Smiths too.
No one likes the Smiths except 19-year-old white girls in art school.
I
Although
like
I saw a lot of them.
I like the Smiths. I think Meat is Murder is their worst album.
I've only heard singles off of the Smiths, if I'm gonna be honest.
Also, we did not rank our the albums this week.
Well, number
let's do that real quick.
number 3 is gonna be Hot Flash Heat Wave. Number 2 is gonna be Johnny Marr. Number 1 is gonna be Cordi Elba.
I'll go Johnny Marr, Cordi Elba, Hot Flash Heatwave.
I would agree. Johnny Marr 3, Cordi Elba 2, Hot Flash Heatwave number 1. And we are listening next week to the Smiths, Meat is Murder, JPEG Mafia's Veteran, and Nickelback's All the Right Reasons.
Yeah.
There's going to be steak being eaten. There's going to be a guest on the podcast. It's going to be a party. It's going to be a good time, hopefully.
Let me just run down my menu real quick. I'm making steak. I'm making Cuban pulled pork. I'm making buffalo macaroni and cheese. And I'm making poutine.
I just want to say before we ever do this Nickelback that there was a great picture that one of my old friends sent me where they got a last second ticket to a Nickelback gig and they all went up to the gig dressed as Chad Kroger.
Yes.
Beautiful image. And that's not all I think about when I think of Nickelback.
And now I'm eating a burger as we finish this episode because
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck Morrissey. Fuck Morrissey.
Morrissey is a interesting, controversial figure.
Yes, fuck Morrissey. But, fuck Morrissey.
Fuck Morrissey.
Until then, though, I have been You can catch me on my website, riddleandforkids at github.io. I also have a YouTube channel that'll be linked in the description below. I have no idea before how long it will be before this cold that I have kills me, so I'm going to stop talking.
I have been Trix. You can catch me on Twitter at procrastinaut_. It's like procrastinating astronaut, then an underscore at the end of it. I've started doing what I'm gonna do our weekly live streams where I just kind of smoke a joint and a cigarette at the camera and talk about whatever. And that was a lot of fun. It was a vibe. I'm gonna keep doing that.
Oh, cool. I'm Dominic. You can catch me on Twitter at DACICHOCKI. I have a short film called Beat on YouTube. I have a couple writing things I'll talk more about as soon as we get to the publishing side of that. Tilting Window Studios in the past. I was going to say something that I thought would be fun to say. Look forward to next week. It's going to be a big, old, good time. It's our April Fool's Day, essentially.
Yeah.
And now that we're doing this, we need to do the White Album episode. That's my new white whale.
Do.
That's my new white whale.
And then dust off the real old one of the No English episode.
That's on the list still. As we get down these the themed episodes, it's just gonna get another one in there. We're gonna get the Bruce Willis episode in there at some point in the hopper.
Yep.
Got it all written down. But that's gonna do it for us, everybody. Have a good night.
Bye.